Hi guys, today I'm going to do a review on my 1986 Ford Bronco 2 four-wheel drive with the 5-speed transmission in it. I believe the engine in it was a 2.9 liter V6 is what I had in there. And it was the first vehicle I ever owned. I bought it in 2000, year 2000 is when I bought it. And it made it home. And I remember my stepdad, he was always kind of smart ass and everything. It was just how the way he said stuff. He's like, you should really check the transmission fluid on that thing or whatever. And I was like, well, it made it home just fine or whatever. Well, when I headed to my grandparents for summer vacation, I was in overdrive flying down the interstate at 70 miles an hour back in those days because it wasn't, you couldn't be going 75 or 80 like you can now. And I heard a quick grind, and then that thing was just coasting down the highway. I took out the transmission on it. And I'd actually ran it out of fluid. It was just low. It didn't have a leak, but anything that we noticed or anything like that. It was just that probably nobody ever checked it. The old owners didn't either. And when I bought it, it had 206,000 miles on it. And so we got it towed home with a U-Haul. And my mom's old boyfriend, he pretty much raised us when we were kids or whatever. He offered to help me on it. So we put new shocks into it, and we hunted down a used transmission from the junkyard. I don't know how many miles were on it, and it was $600 for that transmission. And then we threw a new clutch in it, and we didn't have like a floor jack or anything. So I remember underneath there, him and me, we lifted up there, and I had to hold it up there, and he'd actually filled up the transmission, the fluid in there before we put it on, which I don't know why he didn't just add it after we already had it mounted up there, but I remember just being covered in 80-90 because that's what we added to it. And honestly, I don't think you're supposed to put 80-90 in them, but yeah, we did. And we got it up in there with the clutch alignment tool. It's a little plastic tool there, and we tightened all the bolts around there. And it actually wasn't a bad job to change out that transmission in there. So I ran it for college, in college for a few years, and in high school as well. And it just it had so many miles on it. There was just stuff that could go wrong with it. It didn't have cruise control or nothing. And I remember during my last year of college, actually it would have been, maybe it was my second to last year of college at that time, going to trade school. It was dying on me, and I would have to go ahead and put it into like third gear or whatever, or lower gear, and I could let out the clutch and it would restart the engine or whatever. Well, I made it to a gas station, and I ended up shutting it off or whatever, and I couldn't get it started again. There was a whole bunch of young construction workers, and they're like, oh, we'll push start you or whatever. So like 4 of them got behind it and started pushing it, and they're like, yeah, just drop the clutch in third gear. So I put it in third gear, and I let out the clutch when they got me rolling fast enough. And I had like 50 more miles to go to college or whatever, and I kept doing that for quite a while. And eventually, it was backfiring too, and it actually burned up the air cleaner, like all around the filter, everything. And we didn't have we didn't have eBay to order used parts and all that kind of stuff at that time. So I ended up just kind of junking the vehicle after we got it towed home, and I pulled the drive shafts, I pulled the transfer case, and I pulled the transmission myself, and it wasn't a bad job at all. Like, on a full-size Chevy 3/4 ton pickup, that thing would probably crush you and break your ribs, the transmission, but no, I just lowered them all myself, and ended up selling that transfer case for $100, and the transmission with that clutch with only like 12,000 miles on it for $300. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bronco had 217,000 miles on it when she got parked in the junkyard, or well, in the tree rows anyway. So as for if I would suggest that vehicle for anybody, they sit up pretty high, and they're such a short vehicle. I remember one time I was leaving my grandparents' place, and I had it in 2-wheel drive, and the road was kind of snow-packed and everything, and I stepped in the clutch to upshift from second to third gear, and as soon as I stepped in that clutch, that Bronco 2 did a 180 on me. And after that, whenever the roads were shitty like that, I put it in 4x4. I didn't worry about wearing out the transfer case prematurely, just for safety. So the safety of them, I don't consider them very safe vehicles, and they're just not built heavy duty like a full size half ton or 3/4 ton pickup. So, and they don't get that good of gas mileage either. I was only getting 16 miles per gallon, and the thing is, a full sized half ton pickup at that time, you know, you're probably looking at 14 miles per gallon. So, you can haul a lot more, and all you're losing is 2 miles per gallon. So, I would stay away from that size of platform and just go with the full size pickup. So, and they are the Bronco 2 is on the same platform as the Ford Rangers. They use the same engine at the time, the same transmission. It was all interchangeable. They just put a different body on them. So, all right, take care, you guys.